So now let's take a look at my legs. Mine look something like that. And so what I want to do now is add the kind of the big tooth here on the chin, and then a few horns kind of sticking out from the back. I also want to add some kind of hard surface kind of detail to the shoulders. This is, he's kind of bird-like, and so I want some sort of horns sticking out from the shoulders, but not, I want them to be a little bit more subtle, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go to move and make sure we still have our symmetry on. I'm going to get a pretty large draw size. And then what I'm going to do is pick up some geometry and move it down. So this may take a couple of times to get exactly what we want, but I'm basically picking this up, and let's get kind of a smaller draw size. So I'm going to pick this up and kind of move it down. Okay. I don't want it to be that flat though. So I'm going to pick it up and then move it out. I want it to be more pointed that way. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to make another one. So pick it up. And then I want to move it out. We can have a little bit of a layered effect, so maybe one is longer than the other one. Let's make this a little bit pointy. Let's remesh. So control drag. Smooth this out. Let's go ahead and get our Damien standard brush, and I'm just going to make a more of a division between these, kind of right along the sides there. And this kind of goes back into the surface. Then we can make that a little bit more pointy if we want to. I also want to add the chin, or the tooth here for the chin. And we can do this using an insert brush. So let's just go to our insert multi-mesh basic. I'm just going to grab a cone, and I'll come over here until my symmetry creates one dot. So I know I'm not creating two cones. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a cone right in here. All right. And now I want to make sure that I separate this into a separate subtool. So I'm going to go to split, and let's split unmasked points. Now we can go to this new tooth here, and we can start to manipulate that. So we can go to scale. I'm going to unlock this scale to actually turn off under transform. We'll turn off our symmetry for now. And I'm going to center this and change the rotation. So click on both of those and then relock it. Now I'm just going to scale it down in the X. Let's scale it down in the Y. I'm going to rotate it. Scale it out in the Z. Okay, so something like that. Scale it out overall. And then I want to actually bend it. And so let's go ahead and just subdivide this a few times. We'll go back to move, and I want to click on this little gear, and then I'm going to choose bend arc. And it wants us to have either freeze or not have any subdivisions. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our subdivisions here. Choose bend arc. And then this will allow us to bend the tooth. And so let's go ahead and I'm going to bend it this way. I'll go ahead and accept that. Let's now rotate this again. And now after we've bent it, I want to thicken it up a little bit as well. So let's go back to scale. I'm going to scale it in the Y, scale it down in the Z. So I want to also rotate it, but I want to, before I do that, turn off symmetry. And now let's rotate this up and against the head. All right, so something like that. That's kind of where I want it to hit. And actually maybe a little bit lower than that. So yeah, something like that. Go back to draw. With move selected, we can move it into the head. Let's turn symmetry back on. So once we've got that basic shape in there, we can also add the same thing to kind of the back of this ridge here. And so to do that, we'd simply go in again and do the same thing with the insert. And the great thing about these insert brushes is you could, if you wanted to model a specific tooth or a specific horn or have a library of horns, you could create those and then use those as insert. Then you don't have to do all of the sculpting and modeling on it afterwards. You've already done that work.